Welcome back to my trying to conceive journey, part 3. I left off in the last video that I finally decided it was time to go see a fertility doctor, and she had tracked my cycle naturally, and the next step was to proceed with IUI. But prior to doing the IUI, I had to get an HSG test. I was so nervous for this. If you go online and look up anything about an HSG, it will scare the shit out of you. I was so nervous. Some people were saying it was like worse than giving birth. So I was super nervous. I felt like there was a lot of buildup. You have to get it, I think it's between day 8 and 10 of your cycle. And so this is before we actually proceeded with the IUI. I went to Hogue, got the HSG test done. It was scary, it was painful, but it really wasn't as bad as I had expected and built it up. I also took a painkiller, which I think helped. I felt really accomplished once I got that done. I didn't have any blockage in my tubes, and the radiologist said everything looked good. Doctor said everything looked good as well. So that was a really big relief. You never really want to find anything, but then I also was like, okay, what is the reason for not being able to get pregnant? Like, you don't want there to be a reason, but you also want to be able to fix something. And a few days later, we did proceed with the IUI. So starting day 10 of my cycle, I was going into the fertility doctor every single day to get an ultrasound and blood work to track my ovulation. It was happening a little slower than we had anticipated. Everything was still fine, but I ended up getting a trigger shot, and then I went in and got an IUI. My first IUI was really painful, a lot more painful than I was expecting. It was pretty brutal. It was actually worse for me than the HSG because the tube that gets stuck up there was puncturing my cervix because of the way it was shaped, and it started bleeding and it got really irritated, and it took a really long time to get up there just because it was the first time they didn't know the shape of my cervix and all of that. So that was really painful, and I was basically on bed rest the rest of the day because I was bleeding and having really bad cramping. And then I went back the next day and did it all over again. I did a double IUI. That whole process was just kind of wild, but every single month you try something different. You're obviously hoping and expecting a little bit of a different outcome. I'm like, okay, we're paying all this money. I've been in the fertility doctor. Everything seems like it is aligning so perfectly. This has to happen at this point, right? We do the IUI, and I get this sheet of all the stuff that I am not able to do that I didn't realize. No caffeine, no sweating, no heat, fish once a week. This list was kind of crazy. I was not expecting it, and I got it. It was like, whoa. I love sushi. My job is to work out, and I'm going on a trip this weekend, going to a wedding, and I'm supposed to be drinking. And what do you mean? I was very surprised, but obviously willing to do whatever it takes to have IUI stick and hopefully become pregnant. So that was kind of just silly because I wasn't anticipating that. But obviously 2-week wait, we're in it. I'm feeling good. I do end up getting my period and feeling super bummed. And we did it, the same thing. Another time we did our second IUI. That time was pretty similar to the first. I did have a cyst that we were a little concerned about, but it ended up being fine. We proceeded with the IUI. That didn't work either. The third IUI, which is the most recent, I will talk about in the next video.